those of us that can stand, I will be reading from the book of John. John chapter 20, verses 11 through 18. If you don't have a Bible, I believe it's on the screen. John chapter 20, 11 through 18. Now Mary stood outside the tomb crying as she wept. She bent over to look into the tomb and saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. They asked her, "Woman, why are you crying?" "They have taken my Lord away," she said, "and I don't know where they put him." At this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not realize that it was Jesus. He asked her, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it you're looking for?" Thinking he was the gardener, she said, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will get him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned toward him and cried out in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said, "Do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go instead to my brothers and tell them." Everybody say that again. "Go instead to my brothers and tell them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went to the disciples. Say that again. Mary Magdalene went to the disciples with the news, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her. If you don't mind, just real quick, and look at somebody in close proximity to you and say, "Hey neighbor, the title of this lesson is Doing It Differently." All right, y'all may be seated. Doing it differently. I was actually gonna save this word, and I had started a while ago, and then a couple, things changed, and I was thinking like it was about women. I get the month of May, we're gonna start making that more about the women. But we had a guest speaker and different things, so we always subject to whatever is going to happen. So I had started the word. I didn't have it all written. I just had some thoughts, and I'm just gonna give it to you what I got, and then we getting out of here. Sometimes I hate when I don't write them all down, because I feel like I'm not as seasoned as a T.D. Jakes and all of them. I could just boop, 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 boop. But I know I'm gonna get there, and it's funny because Nate always I like when you have a word like that. Right off the top, you gotta just give it. So, doing it differently. Whenever we are trying to accomplish some kind of task, each individual person will likely have a certain way of doing it. Tying shoes may be done differently by each one of us. I myself will make a loop and wrap the other string around and go under and pull it through. And others might make two bunny ears, flip one under the other, pull it through. Preparing meals daily may be done differently by whoever's doing the cooking. Usually how something is done in a certain way by the person who's accomplishing the task. But the catch is that as long as you're not instructed by somebody who has superiority over you, you could do it your own way. But if you have a supervisor, they might want you to do something, but they want you to do it the way they want it done. See, back before I used to work for this paper company, Strathmore Paper, and in this paper mill, they sold all types of paper. But they had these 3 different production assignments or groups or warehouses that had different assignments on what had to happen for whatever the order is to get out. And they had a certain way of completing the job. So what they would do is they would teach us, depending on which machine we were working, how to do it their way. They wanted us to do it the way they had to get it done, even if we thought we knew the way to do it more efficiently. And it doesn't matter that we could do it another way. They trained us how to do it their way. See why? Because they are the boss and we work for them. And only the boss can okay change. Only the boss can okay a change in the way something is done. So that tells me we got to become our own bosses. It's time for you to put your dream into motion. Get your business plan written. You have to write the vision. Go get an EIN number. Get a bank account. We have to become the head and not the tail, because we are blessed and highly favored. So we have to claim our royal stature. The Bible says we are of royal priesthood. So it's time for us to let the world know we are the kings of this place. And kings plan and strategize. Kings direct and give orders. Kings have dominion. And kings also serve. So it's time for you to take over your kingdom. If it's education, you got to do what you got to do. If it's writing books, you got to do what you got to do. If it's fixing cars or flipping houses, you have to do what you got to do. If it's being an entertainer, you got to do what you have to do. So whatever your heart is desiring to do, you need to start doing what you have to do to become who you're destined to be. Some of us may need to return to school. Some of us need to buckle down and get motivated. Some of us need to change a job. Some of us just have to stop being plain old lazy. If we want more, we need to stop making excuses. We have to change the days of getting laid off or fired. We have to stop letting other people determine our value. How can a jester tell a king what to do? A squire can't tell a king what to do. You can't become a king without being a prince or an apprentice, though. So there's some things that have to happen before you can become a king. But it's time for you to put your royal priesthood in motion. So here in this text, you're probably saying, Pastor E, what you talking about? What does the text do with doing something differently? See, up until this point, everything Jesus had done was according to the way the laws were carried out. We understand that the Pharisees and the Sadducees would challenge him throughout. They would try to trap him with laws of Scripture. And they were deemed to be fools at the end. Say, Jesus knows what he's doing. See, how can you trap the word with the word? So Jesus will use that word to check them and their understanding. He used the word to backfire in their faces. But he didn't change what the word has said. Oh, come on, here we go. Preach it, Chuck. Matthew 5:17-20. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one title shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. And whosoever there shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men, so he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. So Jesus came and fulfilled the laws. That means he came and completed them. And because he did it perfectly, he was able to change the way the laws were done. He didn't change the laws. He changed the way the laws were done. Matthew 22:34-40. It's the greatest commandment. Hearing this, Jesus has silenced the Sadducees and Pharisees got together. One of them, an expert law, tested him with the question, Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus replied, love the Lord thy God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. So this lets us know the laws were not changed. They were just looked at differently. When Moses brought the laws, he told us what we shouldn't do. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. It got so crazy that Moses ended up having like 613 laws. Jesus, just to try to keep people living holy and acceptable to God. But tell somebody that didn't work. Only God is holy anyway. Who knows how to be holy but him? And I believe that God looks for something in us that he could count as righteousness. We are filthy rags. But the book of Genesis lets us know that Abraham believed God. Ooh, that's good. Say Abraham believed God. And God counted that as righteousness. So Moses in the commandments said, what thou shalt not do. But Jesus told us what we should do. He said, love the Lord thy God with all your heart. And love your what? Neighbor as you love yourself. So he said, he said to love God, love me. Then he said to love your neighbor. And he also let us know you're supposed to love yourself. And he said these are the greatest commandments. So our commandment now is to love. Love who has shown mercy on you. Love those who are hurting. Love those who are homeless. Love those who are sick. Love those who are lame. Love those who are handicapped. Love those who mistreated you. Love those who have taken advantage of you. Love those who have lied on you. And love those who believe they don't deserve to be loved. But whatever you do, love them. Love them like they ain't never hurt you. Love them because they just need it. Because love is what we gotta do. Because that's the new commandment. It was not what thou shalt not do. He said just to love. Because that's what the world needs. Look at your neighbor and say, I love you. Whatever you do, just do it in love. Woo! And God said, I'm not changing them laws either. I'm just just doing it differently. Last time it was written in stone, but this time I'm going to write it on your hearts. Hebrews 10:16 says, this is the covenant that I will make with them. After these days, says the Lord, I'll place my laws in their heart and write them on their minds. Jeremiah 31:33 says, this is the covenant I will make with the people of Israel. After that time, declares the Lord, I will put my law in their minds, and I'm going to write it on their hearts. So God didn't get rid of the laws. He just gave us a different way so that we can be in the right place with him. And this time he wrote it in our hearts. So your heart is what he looks at. If your heart has love in it, then you can be right with God. But if there's no love there, you're in disobedience with him. And disobedience is sin. And that'll lead till death. Tell somebody, he's doing it differently. He's doing it differently. He's doing it differently. Woo! So back in those days, long ago, women were kind of an afterthought. Women weren't allowed to preach and teach. The men were the leaders, the rulers, and the kings. Men dealt with men as far as leadership. The woman would be privileged to some conversations, but they weren't called to lead. And because that, the way it went, I told you earlier, Jesus had to abide. He couldn't change today. So the same task has got to get done. But he will have another way of doing it. So here we have Mary who runs to that tomb. She's looking for Jesus and he's not there. But what she sees is the Ark of the Covenant. But she doesn't realize it. She sees two angels at each end. One at the head and one at the feet of where Jesus lay. And for some of us that are Bible readers, we understand that the Ark of the Covenant was two angels on each side. And in between it was the Word. So when she walked in the tomb, she seen them on two sides of what or where the Word was laid. But the Word is no longer there. Because the Word got up and started walking. Let me say that one more time. The Word is not there. Ooh, the Word got up. Because it was the living, walking Word. And that's the problem we have today. We have let people, things, and choices let us think that the Word spoken over our lives is gone. But I came here to tell all of you, you are not defeated. You are victorious. You are blessed and highly favored. God told me to tell you you're already forgiven. And he said you are loved. Whatever negative thoughts have been creeping in your ear, don't listen to it. I cancel them right now in the name of Yeshua. I bind that devil who's been speaking in your mind. And I'm touching and agreeing with you for greater. He has called you to greatness. So be great. Whatever your heart desires, you gonna be great in it. Tell somebody I'm great. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't tell me nothing. just the two angels. And Mary thinks that the Word, Jesus, Yeshua, has been taken. But then she sees a man who she thinks is the gardener. And she thinks he's responsible for taking the body. But then he asks her a question. See, that tells me before God gives you something, he's going to ask you something. He will always communicate with you. So when he answers Mary, she realizes that it's Jesus. Because I believe nobody called her name the way he did. There had to be some kind of accent that he had when he said, Mary. And nobody else said it like him because he's the only one that said, Mary. So when he answers Mary, she realized that it's him. So what I believe, and I don't know, but when we see God, or when we see Jesus, we gonna run up to grab him. How can you not look at something so perfect and not want to go touch it? So I believe she started running at him, and he said, hold up. I'm sorry, but you can't touch me yet. Because I came to fulfill these laws. And because I did it, now I gotta go see my Father. Because my Father's gotta be first. Because the scripture said to love the Lord thy God first, and I'm the express image of who he is. And because now I am perfect, I must ascend. What he tells Mary, I need something for you. This is good. Jesus tells her, go instead to my brothers. You know them 12 people that roll with me. We all brothers now, because we done slept together. We done went to the bathroom in the same places. We done ate together. We done cried together. So now you my brother. Oh, I believe he's just talking to the men, but he let them know they their sisters too, because he's talking to Mary. He says, go instead and tell my brothers, I'm ascending to my Father, to my God and yours. So Mary Magdalene went to the disciples with the news. She said, I have seen the Lord. And she told them that he said these things. So Jesus tells Mary to go to the disciples and tell them something. All the women right now should be saying hallelujah. Jesus has a message and he uses a woman to relay it. Jesus, the risen King, who has followed all the rules, has shown himself to a woman first. At a time when women were supposed to be silent. They weren't able to preach and teach. But now a woman has been given the authority to tell that the word is living. Tell your neighbor he's doing it differently. Jesus has fulfilled the old covenant. He has completed the task that the laws have created. And now he starts a new covenant. But he lets Mary, a woman, go and tell some men he's alive. And we now know this. We know this because how can this story be written if Mary didn't tell it? It wouldn't be written here in the Bible. So in this new covenant, God is still doing what has always been done, but he's using another method. He's doing it differently. In the book of Acts, I'm telling you, chapter 16, we about to get out. I got like 5 minutes. we see a story of Paul. This is Acts chapter 16. Y'all read that when you can. And he has this vision. And at the time of this vision, God is keeping him silent. He's not, before this vision, he can't preach. God has him silent. So Paul has a vision. He sees a man in this vision in Macedonia who's begging him to come and preach because they're looking for the word and there's nothing established there. So God sends him to Macedonia, to this place of worship. And so he goes to the river, the lake, where in the vision he has seen these men, and so he goes there to get ready to begin a new movement, a new ministry. But he finds when he gets there, there's no men. Remember, at this time I just started, everything started with men. And Macedonia is looking to join the movement of the gospel of Yeshua. But when he gets to the river, where I believe he saw again in his dream, there were only women. In particular, there was this woman named Lydia. She was rich. She didn't need nothing. She dealt with purple robes, purple material. And at the time, purple still is royalty. So guess what? She's like Dolce & Gabbana, Louis Vuitton, or Christian Louboutin, or whatever that is. Because only people who got money can deal with. So that means she's making money. She don't need nothing. She don't need no money from a man. But what she needs is God. So she's there and she listens to Paul and she believes. So she ends up inviting him to her house. Y'all read it, it's in there. So what I understand is it was only women. So now the church in Macedonia was started by what? Women. So God is doing something differently. So God is in the business of now using women. God is still starting ministries today. And he's doing it differently. Somebody in here has got a book deal. Or somebody outside has got a book deal. And they might have gotten it on the first try. And you have a book deal written in you. God want me to tell you, don't worry about it. With you, God is doing it differently. Somebody else got the singing contract. He told me to tell you, don't worry about it. With you, God is doing it differently. Others are getting promoted on the job. He told me to tell you, don't worry about it. With you, he's doing it differently. Somebody else has their doctorate degree. He said, don't worry about it. With you, I'm doing it differently. She's dancing on Broadway. He said, don't worry about it. With you, I'm going to do it differently. Her body is shaped like an old school Coca-Cola bottle. He said, don't worry about it. With you, I'm doing it differently. God is always in the business, always in the way of doing business. So Brandon, let's get ready to get out of here. But God told me to tell you, do Do not lose your faith. He's just doing it differently. So God told me to tell you to trust and believe him because it's on the way. But with you, he's doing it differently. And Pastor Mary, he told me last night, he's found righteousness in you. And he's getting ready to show up. He's just doing it differently. Nene, I don't know where you at, but you the last one. He said your deafness was for a reason, but he's getting ready to heal you of everything, but he's doing it differently. God is doing it differently. That's how he operates. He spit in somebody's eyes, then he used mud a different time. That's doing it differently. He told somebody to jump in muddy waters. Then he told 10 other people, just go walk and show yourself. That tells me he's doing things differently. He kicked everybody out of a room to bring a little girl back from the dead. But then he stood in front of a tomb in front of everybody and said, Lazarus, come forth. So that tells me he'll do it differently. And he wants to do something great with all of us in here. He just wants us to believe. And we need to love like we never have before. When we do the turnaround in the morning, that should be part of our prayer. Lord, help me to love like never before. Because here at Ministry in Motion, God is doing something differently. We're not going to look like they expect us to. But when we walk in the building and open up our mouths, they will know that God has shown up because he's doing it differently. We're not him, but we're going to rep him to the fullest because we heard his voice and allowed and believed him to create a ministry to reap the harvest of souls. But we're going to do it differently. Tell somebody he's doing it differently. He's doing it differently. Come on, give God a hand praise. I didn't even know if that was all gonna mix together or not, because I was like, I went all over the place. That went in my mind, but I see when they bring it in, I guess because God knows what he's doing. He don't have to do it the same way all the time, as long as he's doing it. There's some things happening in that Ministry of Motion. We're just trying to get ready. And I need some help. I can't do this by myself. So we got to get this commitment level together. This volunteering together. We don't want not just Apostle Mike, but anybody to show up and catch us not ready or prepared. And when people come here, we want them to feel the same way you felt when you came. We don't judge. We just want to see everybody win. It was funny. I'm just talking about Nate. Nate's actually my friend. Even though he don't think he is, he's my friend. I caught him. If you argue with anybody and still talk to him, they're your friend. So, he called me, he said, you really got people who don't like you. So, how many times y'all heard me say that? He couldn't believe it. But you know what it is? They might have had a serious reason why not to like me. Because I did a lot of crazy things. But they still talking about the old era. So they have no idea. Until they come and talk to me now. Because now I'm doing things differently. Before I was just living for myself. Now I live for him. So I encourage all of you to start doing things different. If your life hasn't been great in whatever area, there's something inside of you that now you got to put in motion. Doing it the way you've been doing it ain't worked out for you. So that means do it different. But keep God first. He's going to tell you what to do. Pastor Mary. Y'all give God one more hand praise.
But praise the Lord, everybody. Just before we close, I was sitting in the chair and the Lord was dealing with me. So sometimes, the Lord will say things to me about somebody or something that's going to happen. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at you. And the message was, God is changing things. And this is what I heard. I believe I heard the Lord say, He's getting ready to change things for you. It's touching my heart because how humble and dedicated you are to Him and to everybody else. But the Lord said He's getting ready to change some things because He's getting ready to make you a deacon. And that's what I heard. And I'm saying, so he's going to promote you. You're getting ready for a promotion because there's a lot of things that are happening for you already that if you open your eyes and see, sometimes we think that things are going to come to us this way, but God goes around sometime and do it. He never does it the way we want Him to do it. We always look for, like my mother's in the hospital and I'm saying, Lord, maybe you can have this happen and then she'll do this. But we can't tell God how to do things. He do things how He wants to do it because you're already in His mind. Before you was even in your mother's womb, He already chose you. So you're already with an anointing and a gift on your life. Because you are a worker and because you are dedicated and because you are faithful, God said. So I know that you got a busy schedule, but the Lord said He's starting to arrange things. He's doing things a little different. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that it is going to be. It's going to be. He's already seen.
So I just had to come back because I've been holding something. So it's like confirmation. As I'm going down, I said, I got water. I'm losing my voice. But we're going to this different place. And the Lord had already let me know it's time to put some people as deacons. So my assignment is to, and I need to meet with some people after. I want to go change, but get ready. But I wanted to talk to you before because I said, hey, I just want to make sure you're ready. So Chuck, you got to make sure you're ready. Make sure you're ready because now it's time to come up. Dad, you got to get ready. It's time to come up. Your name is now coming up. Remember, there's some instructions in here. What we got to do first. It ain't got to be perfect. But there's some things that have to be done in a certain place. So I was going to surprise you and just say, hey, here's come up and be a deacon. But I said, there's got to be, you might have some family members and things you want So y'all get ready. I'm going back downstairs and let her finish. I just wanted to confirm that. It's so funny. So y'all get ready. Brandon, get ready. It's a lot of stuff you got to do because you got to help them. So they understand the deacons. Because the Lord said, hey, you guys are going to help really run the church. Not me, not her. Everybody's going to have their own assignment. Because this is a job we have to do too. So he's going to fulfill us somewhere. He's getting ready. Even me, I'm believing by next week. But anyway, y'all think I'm joking. I seen some things. I just told Shiree, I said, Shiree, this person coming. I don't care, I'm going to tell it. Sam and Nita, right? Didn't I tell you? The Lord showed me them. He showed me, I'm just going to tell it. He showed me people who left coming back. He showed it to me. Because I'm not going to lie, sometimes I get frustrated when I come in and I'm like, yo, and I'll be helping people. And then people talk about me and do all kinds of stuff. If people are talking, come talk to me. I'm going to tell it. I got no shame in my game. And if they talk and say, let's go to Pastor E and let's sit down and talk about it. And now and then you'll find out the truth. I ain't got no reason to lie. Them days of me lying is a long time ago. Sorry, I lied to you anymore. I tell little white lie. She don't know if there was a lie. No, sir. I'm just playing. I gotta get rid of it until we get out. It's still only 12:30. Listen, and we start at 11. Y'all still understand? When we start at 10:30, I'm telling y'all right now. Listen, try to get here by 10 after 10. Let's starting on time, so we can be home by 12. The way the service is right now, this will be like our longest service. We only missing 2 things that I want to add to be part of the service. Well, now 3 things. I want to add another song for the praise team in this area. But it's something that might take 15 minutes. We got to add the dance program, Shiree. No, really. So because we missing as Eric, all these people can dance. Let's get them back here. God told me that. And I told you, he said, before you speak, I need your wife dancing. How we gonna be in ministry in motion and we ain't got no motion? Only person dancing is me. I mean, I'm smooth, but y'all seen I was. But anyway, so we gonna meet right after especially everybody who wants to do something. I told Tamara already. I said you be playing games. She's doing something next week. We gonna start getting people doing something. Everybody gotta do something. It's time to put your ministry in motion. But before you can be a king, you're automatically a prince. So we are a prince, but now we got to learn to be kings. Cool? I think that's all. I had to come to say it was downstairs. I said, dang, she all lit it. Just like, I was going to talk to her first about it. I said, oh, I guess she done said it. I seen her over there. I said, oh, boy. But whatever. All right, we go.
Anybody that want prayer before we close out? Anybody? I know that I'm going to ask Lakia to pray for Lillian while she's back there.
With no point of reference, spoke to the dark and fleshed out
sometimes, and it's true, you don't always have to come up for prayer because, we should know how to pray for ourselves, but sometimes the Lord wants us to have special prayer